12 Stoic principles that will transform your life immediately. Stoic wisdom. 1. Focus only on what you can control. Imagine a young man who spent every morning checking his phone the moment he woke up. Before his feet touched the floor, he had already absorbed bad news, negative comments, and the opinions of strangers. If someone criticized him online, his mood was ruined. If the economy seemed uncertain, he felt anxious. If a friend failed to reply to a message, he spent hours wondering what was wrong. Day after day, he gave away his peace to things he could not influence. One day he came across a simple Stoic idea: some things are within your control, and some are not. At first, it sounded too simple to change his life. But the more he thought about it, the more he realized that most of his stress came from trying to control what was never his responsibility. He could not control what people thought about him. He could not control unexpected events. He could not control the past. What he could control was his attitude, his effort, and his response. He decided to practice this principle every day. Whenever a problem appeared, he asked himself one question: is this within my control? If the answer was no, he stopped feeding it with worry. If the answer was yes, he focused on action. Slowly, his anxiety decreased. His confidence increased. He stopped feeling like life was happening to him and started feeling like he was actively shaping it. This is the first Stoic principle that can transform your life immediately. Stop trying to control everything and start mastering what is truly yours. 2. Accept reality as it is. A woman spent years wishing her life had turned out differently. She regretted opportunities she missed, relationships that ended, and mistakes she had made. Every day she replayed old memories, imagining different outcomes. Yet no amount of wishing could change the past. Instead of moving forward, she remained trapped in a battle against reality. The Stoics understood something many people never learn. Reality does not become easier because we resist it. In fact, resistance often creates more pain than the event itself. Imagine standing in a storm while shouting at the sky because it is raining. The storm does not stop. You simply exhaust yourself. This is what many people do emotionally. They fight situations that already exist. One day the woman decided to stop asking, "Why did this happen?" and start asking, "What can I do now?" That single shift changed everything. She began focusing on the present instead of the past. She started taking action instead of complaining. She stopped waiting for reality to match her expectations and began building a future from where she stood. Acceptance is not surrender. It is clarity. It is recognizing the truth of the moment so you can move forward with strength and wisdom. When you stop fighting reality, you free your energy for growth, healing, and progress. 3. Master your emotions. There was once a businessman whose emotions controlled every aspect of his life. If a customer complained, he became angry. If a deal failed, he became discouraged. If someone criticized him, he spent days replaying the words in his head. His emotional reactions were determining the quality of his life. One day he read a quote from a Stoic philosopher that changed his perspective. It said that people are disturbed not by events but by their judgments about events. He realized that external situations were not the true source of his suffering. His reactions were. From that day forward, he practiced pausing before responding. When anger appeared, he waited. When frustration appeared, he observed it. When fear appeared, he questioned it. This was not easy. In fact, it was one of the hardest things he had ever done. But over time, he noticed something remarkable. The emotions that once controlled him began losing their power. His relationships improved because he stopped reacting impulsively. His decisions improved because he stopped letting temporary feelings guide permanent choices. His confidence improved because he knew he could remain calm under pressure. The Stoics never taught that emotions should be eliminated. They taught that emotions should be managed with wisdom. Master your emotions, and you will gain control over one of the most powerful forces in your life. 4. Remember that time is limited. A successful executive spent decades chasing promotions, money, and status. He always told himself he would spend more time with family later. He would travel later. He would enjoy life later. But later never seemed to arrive. Years passed faster than he expected. One evening he looked through old photographs and realized how much time had disappeared. Children had grown up. Loved ones had aged. Moments he thought would last forever had quietly slipped away. For the first time, he truly understood what the Stoics meant when they said that life is short. Many people live as though they have unlimited time. They postpone their dreams. They delay important conversations. They waste hours on distractions that add little value to their lives. The Stoics encouraged people to remember mortality not because they were pessimistic but because they wanted to live fully. When you understand that your time is limited, you begin making different choices. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You focus on what matters. You become more intentional about how you spend your days because you recognize that your days become your life. Every sunrise is a gift. Every day is an opportunity that will never come again. The awareness of life's brevity can become one of the most powerful sources of motivation and gratitude. 5. Stop seeking validation from others. Many people spend their entire lives trying to gain approval. They change their opinions to fit in. They hide their true selves to avoid criticism. They measure their worth by likes, compliments, and recognition. A young artist struggled with this constantly. Every painting she created was judged according to what others thought. If people praised her work, she felt valuable. If they criticized it, she felt worthless. Her happiness depended entirely on the opinions of strangers. Then she encountered a Stoic lesson that transformed her mindset. The Stoics taught that your value comes from your character, not from public opinion. People will praise you one day and criticize you the next. Their opinions are unstable. Building your self-worth upon them is like building a house on sand. The artist gradually shifted her focus. Instead of asking whether people liked her work, she asked whether she had done her best. Instead of chasing approval, she pursued excellence. The result was freedom. She no longer felt trapped by the expectations of others. The moment you stop living for validation, you begin living authentically. You become stronger because your confidence comes from within rather than from external applause. 6. Turn obstacles into opportunities. Every successful person encounters obstacles. The difference is how they interpret them. While most people see barriers, Stoics see opportunities for growth. A runner preparing for a major competition suffered an injury months before the event. At first, he viewed it as a disaster. He felt frustrated and defeated. But then he remembered a Stoic principle: the obstacle is the way. Instead of giving up, he focused on what the setback could teach him. He improved other aspects of his training. He developed patience. He strengthened his mental resilience. By the time he recovered, he was stronger in ways he had never expected. Life rarely follows our plans. Challenges are inevitable. Yet every challenge contains a hidden lesson. Every setback develops qualities that comfort never can. Courage, patience, perseverance, and wisdom are forged through adversity. When difficulties arise, ask yourself, how can this make me stronger? That question alone can transform the way you experience hardship. 7. Practice gratitude every day. There was once a wealthy merchant who spent his entire life chasing more. Every year his business grew larger. Every year he earned more money. Every year he acquired new possessions. Yet despite all his success, he remained dissatisfied. Whenever he achieved one goal, he immediately focused on the next. Nothing ever seemed enough. One day, while traveling through a small village, he met an elderly man who possessed very little. The old man lived in a modest home, owned only a few belongings, and had no great wealth. Yet he seemed genuinely happy. Curious, the merchant asked him how he could be so content with so little. The old man smiled and replied, "Because I spend my days appreciating what I have instead of mourning what I lack." Those words stayed with the merchant for years. He realized that his unhappiness did not come from a lack of possessions. It came from a lack of gratitude. His mind was constantly focused on what was missing rather than what was already present. The Stoics practiced gratitude as a daily discipline. They understood that the human mind naturally focuses on problems, shortcomings, and desires. Without conscious effort, we begin taking our blessings for granted. We forget the value of our health until we become sick. We forget the value of loved ones until they are gone. We forget the value of simple moments because we are distracted by future ambitions. Every morning, take a few moments to appreciate what is already good in your life. Be grateful for your ability to think, learn, grow, and improve. Be grateful for the people who support you. Be grateful for opportunities others may never receive. Gratitude does not eliminate challenges. It changes your perspective toward them. It reminds you that even during difficult seasons, there is still something worth appreciating. A grateful mind becomes a peaceful mind. A peaceful mind becomes a powerful mind. The more gratitude you practice, the more abundance you begin to notice. What once seemed ordinary starts to feel extraordinary. The sunrise, a conversation with a friend, a healthy body, a quiet evening, and another chance to improve yourself all become reminders that life contains countless gifts. Many people spend their entire lives waiting to be happy. Stoicism teaches you to discover happiness in what already exists. 8. Build unshakable self-discipline. A young man dreamed of becoming successful. He read books, watched motivational videos, and created ambitious plans for his future. Every week he felt inspired. Every week he promised himself that this time would be different. Yet months passed and little changed. The problem was not a lack of knowledge. It was a lack of discipline. Many people believe success is created by motivation. The Stoics understood something different. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is reliable. Motivation comes and goes depending on how you feel. Discipline continues even when you do not feel like taking action. One winter morning, the young man faced a choice. His alarm rang before sunrise. He could remain comfortable in bed or get up and work toward his goals. Everything inside him wanted comfort. Yet he remembered a Stoic lesson: the path to growth often requires doing what is difficult. He got up. The next day he did the same thing. Then the next day. And the next. Slowly, his habits began transforming his life. Discipline is built one decision at a time. Every moment presents a choice between comfort and growth. Most people choose comfort because it feels easier in the moment. Unfortunately, comfort often creates weakness over time. Growth feels difficult in the moment but creates strength over time. The Stoics viewed self-discipline as a form of freedom. A person who cannot control their desires, impulses, and habits is not truly free. They are controlled by them. Imagine having complete confidence in your ability to follow through on commitments. Imagine knowing that you can trust yourself regardless of your mood. That is the power of discipline. Your future is not determined by occasional bursts of effort. It is determined by what you do consistently. Small disciplined actions repeated daily eventually create extraordinary results. The strongest people are rarely the most talented. They are often the most disciplined. 9. Learn to be comfortable alone. One of the greatest fears in modern society is solitude. Many people cannot sit alone with their thoughts for even a few minutes. They constantly seek distraction through social media, entertainment, noise, and endless activity. The Stoics viewed solitude differently. A young professional spent every moment surrounded by people. His schedule was packed with meetings, conversations, social events, and online interactions. Yet despite being constantly connected, he felt disconnected from himself. One weekend, circumstances forced him to spend several days alone. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable. Without distractions, he became aware of thoughts he had been avoiding for years. He noticed fears, insecurities, and unanswered questions. His first instinct was to escape the discomfort. Instead, he stayed with it. As the days passed, something remarkable happened. The silence that initially felt threatening began feeling peaceful. He started reflecting on his values, goals, and priorities. For the first time in years, he could hear his own thoughts clearly. Stoicism teaches that solitude is not loneliness. Solitude is an opportunity to strengthen your relationship with yourself. When you become comfortable alone, You stop depending on constant external stimulation for happiness. You become less influenced by social pressure. You gain clarity about who you are and what truly matters. Many people fear being alone because they have never learned how to enjoy their own company. Yet the strongest individuals often spend significant time in reflection. They understand that wisdom grows in moments of quiet contemplation. Learn to sit with yourself. Learn to listen to your thoughts. Learn to enjoy your own presence. A person who can stand comfortably alone possesses a level of strength that circumstances cannot easily shake. 10. Let go of the fear of failure. A talented entrepreneur spent years planning a business she never launched. Every idea seemed promising, but fear always stopped her. She worried about losing money. She worried about embarrassment. She worried about what people would think if she failed. Years passed. Her greatest regret was not failure. Her greatest regret was never trying. The Stoics understood that fear of failure prevents more dreams than failure itself. Many people spend their lives avoiding risks because they want certainty. Yet certainty rarely exists. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that every human being makes mistakes. Every successful person experiences setbacks. Failure is not proof of inadequacy. It is evidence of action. Imagine a child learning to walk. No one expects perfection. Falling is part of the process. Yet adults often expect themselves to succeed immediately. When they encounter difficulty, they interpret it as proof they should stop. Stoicism teaches a different lesson. Success is not measured solely by outcomes. Success is measured by whether you acted with courage, integrity, and effort. The entrepreneur eventually launched her business. She made mistakes. She experienced setbacks. Some decisions worked. Others failed. But she discovered something important. Failure was never as frightening as she imagined. In fact, every mistake taught valuable lessons that made her stronger and wiser. The fear of failure shrinks your world. Courage expands it. Do not allow the possibility of failure to prevent the possibility of growth. The greatest opportunities often exist on the other side of fear. 11. Live according to your values. A respected lawyer appeared successful from the outside. He had a prestigious career, financial security, and public recognition. Yet internally he felt conflicted. Much of his life had been shaped by other people's expectations rather than his own values. One evening he asked himself a difficult question. If nobody could judge me, how would I choose to live? The answer surprised him. For years he had been pursuing goals that impressed others but did not align with his deepest beliefs. He had achieved success while drifting away from himself. The Stoics believe that character is the foundation of a meaningful life. Wealth, status, and possessions can disappear. Character remains. Living according to your values requires courage because it often means making choices others do not understand. It may require rejecting paths that appear attractive on the surface. It may require disappointing people who expect you to follow a different direction. Yet there is a unique peace that comes from living authentically. When your actions align with your principles, inner conflict decreases. You no longer need to pretend to be someone you are not. You stop measuring success by external standards and begin measuring it by personal integrity. Ask yourself what values matter most. Honesty? Discipline? Compassion? Wisdom? Courage? Then make decisions that reflect those values consistently. A meaningful life is not built by following the crowd. It is built by remaining true to what you believe is right. The Stoics understood that a person with strong values possesses something more valuable than external success: self-respect. 12. Become the best version of yourself every day. A wise teacher once asked his students an unusual question. Who is your greatest competition? Most of them named successful athletes, business leaders, or famous individuals. The teacher shook his head. Your greatest competition is the person you were yesterday. This idea perfectly reflects the Stoic approach to personal growth. Many people compare themselves to others. They measure their progress against someone else's achievements. As a result, they become discouraged, jealous, or insecure. The Stoics encouraged a different focus. Compare yourself only to your previous self. Are you wiser than you were a year ago? More disciplined? More patient? More courageous? Growth is rarely dramatic. Most transformation happens gradually. Small improvements accumulate over time. One better decision today may seem insignificant. Repeated consistently, it can completely change your future. Imagine improving by just 1% every day. The progress would appear small at first. Yet over months and years, those improvements would create extraordinary results. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Every day presents an opportunity to become a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little more resilient than before. The Stoics viewed life as a continuous process of self-improvement. They understood that no one ever becomes perfect. What matters is the commitment to keep growing. As you reflect on these 12 Stoic principles, remember that transformation does not happen through knowledge alone. It happens through action. Choose one principle and begin applying it today. Then another. Then another. Over time, these small changes will reshape your mindset, strengthen your character, and transform your life in ways you never imagined. If you enjoyed this video and want more powerful lessons on Stoicism, self-discipline, mental strength, and personal growth, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Join our community of people committed to becoming wiser, stronger, and better every day. Remember, the goal is not to be better than someone else. The goal is to be better than you were yesterday.